Good morning.
Good morning, Father.
Last weekend, we were in the desert with Jesus, and Jesus was tempted. He had to make a choice, actually 3 choices. And Deacon Chris invited us to think this land of our desert moments. Moments and times when we are faced with challenges and difficult decisions. You may not know where to go and what to do. And those desert moments are real in our lives. And he challenged us that when we find ourselves in those moments, to ask God for help, to ask God for guidance. And we all have those desert moments. And sometimes you may be called by God to go into the desert and face the choices. Now today, we change the location. We are on the mountain. We move from the desert where Jesus was at his lowest. And notice that's when the devil came to tempt him, when he was the weakest. So we move from the desert where Jesus was at his lowest to the mountain where he is at his highest, so to speak, surrounded by glory. It is a mountain moment for him. And this time, he is not alone, like in the desert. His disciples are with him, Peter, James, and John. Now, much can be said about this story, but today I want to focus on one simple statement from the gospel reading. Luke tells us, "Then from the cloud came a voice and said, 'This is my son, my chosen one. Listen to him.'" After the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. See, Elijah is gone, and Moses is gone, and Jesus is alone. I would suggest that the gospel today invites us to go to the mountain. Imagine you are there with Peter, James, and John. It is a mountain moment for you as well. And God invites you, and God asks you and all of us one thing: listen to Jesus. So in addition to the desert moments in our lives, we also need to pay attention to the mountain moments in our lives, when God will invite you and me to listen to Jesus more attentively and maybe more intentionally. Now, at different times in our lives, the message that Jesus will give you may be different. It all depends on the circumstances. And I could not help but to think about what the world is today, as the war in Ukraine is raging, and close to 2.5 million refugees are flooding Poland and other countries in Europe. Notice it doubled in 1 week. Just 1 week. It's horrific when you look at the images and pictures on social media and daily news. But at the same time, the courage of the people in Ukraine is inspiring and moving. I was thinking of the priest who's celebrating a mass in a shelter because the bombs are flying. Many people have asked me, what can we do? What can I do to help? And I think deep down, we all want to do something when we look at those images. Because you can't be indifferent. Many people have asked me, well, how is your family in Poland, Father? And I greatly appreciate their concern. They are fine. We live by the German border. We are far away from the border with Ukraine. We are safe. But there's more and more refugees coming into my city and to other cities in Poland. Now, what would Jesus say to us at this moment as we face all of that? We are so far away, it seems, yet at the same time we are so close because you can almost touch the images that you see. Maybe Jesus, at this moment, would quote Matthew 25. When I was hungry, you gave me food. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I was a stranger, you welcomed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. Whatever you did for the least of my brothers and sisters, you did it to me. Maybe that's what Jesus would say at this moment. This past week on Tuesday, I talked to a high school classmate of mine. His name is Father Tomasz, which means Jeremy. He is a Franciscan priest living in a Franciscan monastery in Nysa, Poland, NYSA. And as we speak, they are preparing to receive at least 50 refugees with kids to their monastery. Mostly mothers with children. Some have already arrived. Others will be coming in the weeks to come. They have been already talking with some families who are right now on the Ukrainian border. And those families will be coming to the monastery this week. They have transformed some of the unused spaces in the monastery into sleeping quarters for the refugees. And they are doing an amazing job. I was talking to Father Tomasz the other day, and he said, we are exhausted. I'm not surprised. They transformed everything in a week to welcome the refugees. But they are doing an amazing job. So as a parish, after talking to our staff at St. Patrick's, we have decided to partner with them and to help them. You see, the refugees that they will welcome in that particular place feed daily with 3 meals, buy books for the kids to go to school, shelter them. Those families and those refugees are what they call a long-term stay refugees. In other places, refugees will come, stay for 2-3 days, and then they move to another place or to friends and family members. But those families have no place to go. They will stay in that place for months to come until the war is over so they can return home. And that's what they want to do. They want to go back home. So that's what we want to do. We want to help them. And our donations, whatever they may be, small or large, will have a direct impact for specific people in a specific place. And we have put some information on mystpatricks.com website, and we'll continue to update the page on a regular basis. We invite you to pray for them. They need our prayers. It's a very challenging situation. And to make a donation if you can. Again, you can go to our website and donate online by clicking Help Ukraine once you get to the St. Patrick's online giving page. You can mail a check to the rectory or drop it off or put it in the collection basket. We have white envelopes like this at the entrances. It says for Ukraine. Second, let your friends know what we are doing. I have found that many people are trying to figure out, what can I do? Where can I donate? How can I go about this? So maybe partnering with us at St. Patrick's is exactly what your friends may want to do. You just never know. So simply spread the news. And lastly, check with your employer or company if they will match your donation. I was talking to one parishioner, and his company will match his donation to this cause. And he had to convince them they should. And lastly, if you have any questions, feel free to talk to me in person. I'll be more than glad to answer any questions that you may have. I know that Father Jeremias and his Franciscan community are grateful that we are trying to do something to help in any way we can. And he has been in contact with me on a daily basis. But above all, let us continue to pray that this war ends, that it does not escalate. Let us pray for the refugees and everyone who's trying to help. Today, Jesus invites us to go to a mountain. It's a mountain moment for all of us. And as we face everything that's happening in this world, maybe what Jesus would say to us is simply this: when I was hungry, you gave me food. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I was a stranger, you welcomed me. Whatever you did to the least of my brothers and sisters, you did it to me.